Welcome to another episode of Game Boy Roulette, where we take a look at randomly chosen games from the Game Boy library.
Golf. Ooh, how descriptive. The first year of the Game Boy's existence saw a whole revolution of handheld gaming, as all sorts of genres of games started appearing on the system. Platformers, puzzle games, racing games, RPGs, board games, they were all looking to be the first of its genre on the handheld. And one of those firsts was the first golf game released on the Game Boy, a game, well, just called Golf. Technically a port of the NES Famicom game from a few years before, it still takes the gold for the very first golf game ever released on the Game Boy. And as we've seen, as time went on, there was absolutely no shortage of those. But the game had a pretty amazing pedigree behind it, as well as an important legacy. The game and character design were done by Shigeru Miyamoto, the music by Koji Kondo, and the main programmer of both the console and handheld versions was the late great Satoru Iwata. And you know how anytime you play a golf game, it has a little bar for power and accuracy to help you make your shot? Yeah, Golf invented that. It really is the grandfather of all golf games. So I'm curious, how well does the Game Boy handle all that when the NES one was such a major force? Especially since, as the 16th game to ever be released for the Game Boy, it was still well within the early, slightly rough and janky days of my beloved handheld. The box art is pretty iconic too, updating the original box to feature Mario, thus officially beginning a love that would last a lifetime. Also, I love that this sentence just has a period at the end. Yeah, there's fun and challenge, but come on, let's not get crazy. So how does the grandfather of this genre do on the handheld? Let's hit the fairways with Golf. Yeah, it's time to golf! What a lovely song on the title screen. The 16th game ever released for the Game Boy, at least in Japan. But let's do this. Name registration. I better take this very seriously. Good. Japan or USA? USA. Fight! Were they yelling fight? So it looks like there's only 2 courses, 18 holes each. Oh, it's 384 yards, par 4. Okay, up and down to change clubs. Oh, save game? Wow. Oh, wait a sec. Hey, I recognize that pause sound. Okay, hold B to look at the course. Where's the driver? How do I golf? Sure, the one wedge. Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is pretty much exactly the kind of power bar you would expect. A, then A again in the, black part on the left, then A a third time once I get back to this sweet spot. A. Oh, God. Not my best shot. Yeah, pretty rough. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, and because we're in... Hang on. What club should I be using here? See, that's the thing. I don't know club distance. Usually I just go with what the game tells me. Hang on. Give me just a sec. Okay, I brought up a guide. The one wedge is the furthest one. It's 127 yards to the hole. So we want to go with the 8 iron. Watch this hit, kids. That actually went slightly better than I thought it would. I was sure it was going to go right into the water. Bonk, bonk, bonk. Alright. Yes. Okay, I was going to say, if it's a quality golf game, it has different putting music. And it does. There's definitely some quality of life stuff missing. That wouldn't come into, oh my god, that wouldn't come into golf games for a while. See, I'm so used to my favorite golf game ever is Super Mario Golf Advance Tour. Woohoo! Triple bogey, that's good, right? But Mario Golf Advance Tour is just tremendous game. RPG mechanics, very intuitive, lots of tutorials, all that. This game, you definitely are going to need the manual. A par 3, 191 out, eh? This calls for the 1 iron. Oh my god, the shot that they warned you about. Oh my god. Please! Oh, so close! Oh my god, that was so close to a hole-in-one! Yeah, alright. Oh, look how happy he is. Golf games, they're just really fun. As long as they're not overly complicated, and the thing is, it's actually pretty difficult to overly complicate a golf game. Oh god. This one is not amazing. It's very simple. It's extremely simplistic. But that's because it's one of the first ones. You know, it's based on the NES version. And I would imagine the NES version wasn't that much more complicated. Check this shot out. Uh-oh. I'm not good at this one. No, stop! I get way too into golf games, man. Give me some credit, I am very good at, what are they called? Chip-ons? Approaching shots? Where you go from near the green to the green. What are those called? Oh, come on! I think we want to go over here. That looks about halfway. Actually, one thing I do like about this is that without the guides, you do have to sort of figure things out yourself. You sort of have to intuit, okay, I'm looking to go to that middle part. That's about halfway there. It's 354, so we're looking at about 175, so that calls for the 5-iron. Once you get to know this game, wow, that worked stunningly well. Once you get to know this game, I'm sure it would be easy to get birdies and albatrosses and eagles and other golf terms I think I know. This one, again, it's not perfect. Far from it. It is, you can see, pretty rough, very simple. There's not a whole lot going on. But as the game that would lay the foundation for pretty much every golf game, yeah, it's pretty solid. It may not be the best game, but I think we can all appreciate how it all started. Now check out this putt. The putt your parents warned you about. I mean, mostly they warned you because it wasn't going to be very good. Turns out a one-wood and a driver are the same thing. Never knew that. Reviewing a game that came out early in the Game Boy's lifespan always shows off just how many of the early games were slightly janky, awkward, or insubstantial. Well, besides Tetris, but come on, Tetris is perfect. And in the case of golf, I'd say the biggest problem was the insubstantiality of the game. There's only 2 courses with 18 holes, so it's not exactly bursting with content. And the gameplay itself, while standard to golf games, is missing a significant amount of quality of life features, such as guides or more in-depth maps. It's still generally fun, but it does really leave me craving more and reaching for my beloved Mario Golf Advance Tour. But it's when you look at the bigger picture that you realize just how important golf was. Yes, it's missing a lot of features, but that's kind of because it created the foundation that all future golf games would be based on. The power bar, the map views, golf was what started it, and while it doesn't do anything amazing, for the time it did everything right. And as far as if it's a cut-down port of the NES version, well, it's actually a scaled-up port, because the NES only has 1 course with 18 holes, while the Game Boy has 2. So it's one of the rare, wonderful cases where the Game Boy version is the superior version. Golf hasn't aged super well, and I think you can get your golf fix with any of the more updated games that came out. But as a time capsule for where it all began, golf is still worth checking out. And hey, if you don't mind a stripped-down experience, there's still fun to be had. But again, it makes me long for my one true love. God, this game was fantastic. And that's all for another episode of Game Boy Roulette. Make sure to like the video, comment, and subscribe to follow the series as we continue to dig through the Game Boy vault. I'm Brian J, and I'll see you next time.